My name is Isabella Hart. I'm 29 years old. And 3 weeks before I was supposed to marry the man I loved, a single Instagram post destroyed everything. It happened on a Saturday night. I was lying on the couch, scrolling through social media, when Ethan's bachelor party video appeared at the top of my feed. My boyfriend, Ethan Brooks, 27 years old, was standing on a table with a drink in his hand, while his friends cheered around him. The caption read, "Last night of freedom, before I'm stuck forever." I stared at the screen. Maybe another woman would have laughed it off. I couldn't, not because of the caption, because of the woman wrapped around his shoulders in the video. And because I already knew something Ethan didn't know I knew, the comments were even worse. Get it out of your system, while you can. Por Isabella, has no idea. That's not even the only girl tonight. I sat there quietly for almost 2 minutes. Then, I typed, "Congratulations on your freedom." The comment was live for less than 30 seconds before my phone exploded. Texts, calls, notifications, friends asking questions, his friends demanding explanations. But I wasn't finished. 4 days earlier, Ethan had told me he was staying at his sister Emily's house to finish last-minute wedding planning. I believed him. At least, that's what he thought. What Ethan didn't know was that our Ring doorbell had recorded him arriving home at 1:14 p.m. with another woman. The footage was crystal clear. A black Tesla pulled up. Ethan stepped out laughing. The woman followed. She grabbed his jacket. He kissed her. Then she smacked his backside playfully, while he grinned like a teenager. A few seconds later, she walked away. And Ethan entered our apartment. I had watched that footage dozens of times. Each viewing hurt less than the first. Eventually, pain became clarity. So I uploaded the video directly beneath his bachelor party post. My caption was simple: Tuesday's preview of that freedom. Then I set my phone down. The explosion was immediate. Within half an hour, Ethan's mother Diane called. I answered because I already knew exactly what she wanted. "Isabella." "What the hell are you doing?" she screamed. "Having a quiet evening. Delete that video right now." "Why?" "You're humiliating him." I looked at the footage again. No. Diane. Ethan humiliated himself. It was one mistake. One. Silence. I continued. Check the timestamp. This happened 4 days ago. You're throwing away 3 years over this. The wedding is in 3 weeks. We've paid deposits. I laughed softly. Sounds like an Ethan problem. Then I hung up. Minutes later, another surprise appeared. Months earlier, Ethan's friends had accidentally left me in a bachelor party group chat. Most people would have removed me. Apparently nobody noticed. Messages flooded in. His best friend Mason wrote, "Someone get that video down." Emily wrote, "She's completely lost it." Another friend suddenly asked, "Wait, is that Olivia's Tesla?" I froze. Olivia. Interesting. I had never mentioned the woman's name. Neither had Ethan. Yet suddenly, everyone seemed to know exactly who she was. The pieces were starting to connect. Ethan called 63 times that night. I didn't answer once. Instead, I called the venue, canceled every reservation under my name, canceled the photographer, canceled the florist. Then I posted inside our wedding Facebook group, "The wedding has been canceled. Gift refunds will be arranged. Thank you for your understanding." Afterward, I packed a bag and went to stay with my older sister Natalie. I thought the worst was over. I was wrong. The next morning, Ethan launched his counterattack. He posted a lengthy apology, not for cheating, for my misunderstanding. According to him, I was insecure, controlling, jealous of female friends. The usual script? But Ethan had always believed he was smarter than everyone else. That confidence became his downfall. In his statement, he wrote, Isabella has always been obsessed with Olivia, even though nothing happened. I read the sentence 3 times. Then I smiled, because I had never mentioned Olivia's name publicly. Not once. The comments noticed immediately. How did he know it was Olivia? Nobody said her name. Wait. Wasn't he supposed to be with Emily that night? The tide turned fast. Then, someone else entered the conversation. Olivia's boyfriend. His comment appeared beneath Ethan's post. So that's where you were Tuesday. The post disappeared less than 15 minutes later. Too late. Thousands had already seen it. Diane wasn't finished. Though, that afternoon, she arrived at Natalie's house with Emily and Ethan's father. Robert. My sister watched through the security camera while they pounded on the door. We know she's inside. Diane yelled, "We need to talk." Natalie laughed. No. You need consequences. Open this door. Or what? Robert stepped forward. We're trying to be adults. My sister folded her arms. You raised a cheater. Conversation over. Eventually, neighbors started coming outside. The family left, but their desperation was becoming obvious. Later that afternoon, I received a payment notification, $2,500. From Ethan. The message said, "For your half of the deposits." I sent it back. "Keep it. Consider it a freedom tax." He sent it again. "Stop being petty." I returned it. "Stop being unfaithful." Back and forth. Again, 8 times, until the payment app temporarily froze both our accounts, even in the middle of heartbreak. I couldn't help laughing. That evening, an unknown number called. I nearly ignored it. Something told me not to. Hello? Hi. Isabella. This is Monica from the wedding venue. I sat up. Everything okay? There was a pause. Actually, Ethan's mother was here today. I closed my eyes. Of course she was. Let me guess. Monica laughed nervously. She demanded we reverse your cancellation. And I explained you're the contract holder. Good. Then she tried booking the same date herself. I nearly choked. What? That's not the strange part. A chill ran through me. What is... Olivia and her boyfriend had just left before Diane arrived. I froze. Monica continued. They were discussing their own relationship issues. Apparently they're trying to work things out. The room suddenly felt very quiet. The woman Ethan risked everything for was trying to save her relationship with someone else. And for the first time since this nightmare began, I wondered if Ethan had any idea how disposable he really was. Monday morning. I went back to the apartment. I waited until Ethan was supposed to be at work, because I wanted to pack quietly. No arguments. No dramatic doorway confession. No performance. Just boxes. But when I unlocked the door, I found him in the living room with 3 suitcases open on the floor. He jumped when he saw me. Isabella. I looked at the clothes scattered across the couch. Taking a trip. He swallowed. I'm going to stay with my parents for a while. Give you space to think. I already thought. His face tightened. We're not done. We are. He stared at me like I had slapped him. 3 years. Isabella. You're throwing away 3 years over 1 kiss. 2 kisses that I know of. It didn't mean anything. That sentence landed colder than any confession could have. It meant enough for you to lie. He dragged both hands through his hair. Olivia understands me. I almost laughed. Does she... She makes me feel wanted. There it was. Not guilt. Not remorse. A complaint. I stood in the doorway, while the life we built sat half-packed around him. You were planning a wedding with me. And you were never home? He snapped. You were always working. Always tired. Always talking about budgets and deposits and grown-up things. I was working overtime to pay for the wedding. He scoffed. Maybe I didn't want a woman who treated love like a spreadsheet. For a second, I saw him clearly. Not the man I thought I loved. The boy who wanted comfort without responsibility. So, you chose a woman with a Tesla. His jaw clenched. She has ambition. She has a boyfriend. He looked away too quickly. That was my answer. He yanked one suitcase toward the door, trying to leave with dignity. But the wheel caught on the rug. He pulled harder. It tipped sideways. Shirts spilled everywhere. The dramatic exit died right there on our living room floor. I didn't help him. 20 minutes after he finally left, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. The message read, "Hey, this is Olivia's boyfriend. Caleb, I know this is awkward. But can you tell Ethan to stop contacting her? We're trying to fix things and he won't leave her alone." I stared at the screen. Then, I took a screenshot and sent it to Ethan. My message said, "Looks like the Tesla drove off." He called immediately. I answered, "You contacted him." "Didn't you?" Ethan hissed. "You threatened him." "I don't care enough about Caleb to threaten him." "You're ruining my life." "No. You're just watching it without the filter." Silence. Then I said the thing he needed to hear. "Face it. Ethan, you were not Olivia's escape plan. You were her distraction." His breathing changed. "She said she loved me." "When?" "Tuesday. The same Tuesday she's now explaining to her boyfriend as a mistake." He said nothing. "Ethan, she was never leaving him for you." He hung up. By noon, Diane had moved from phone calls to email. Fourpage. She accused me of emotional abuse, public cruelty, character assassination. She wrote that real love meant forgiveness, that Ethan was confused, that men sometimes needed room to make mistakes before marriage. Then she listed every dollar their family had spent. At the bottom, she threatened to sue me for defamation. I forwarded it to my friend Marcus, a lawyer I'd known since college. His reply came fast. "She thinks ring footage is defamation. Let her try." That night, the flying monkeys arrived. Cousins, old friends, people who had not spoken to me in years. One message said, "Ethan is a passionate person. He needs someone who understands his heart." I replied, "His heart can understand rent, because he's not living here anymore." Another said, "Don't punish him for being honest about his needs." I wrote back, "He wasn't honest. He was just recorded." By Wednesday, things turned darker. I came home from work and knew something was wrong before I reached the bedroom. The apartment felt too still. My office door was open. My monitors were smashed. My camera lens was cracked. The laptop I used for freelance editing had been thrown against the wall. My hard drives were scattered across the floor. On my desk sat a note. "Oops. I was getting my things and accidentally knocked them over." The handwriting was Ethan's sister Emily's. I stood there for a long moment, not crying, not screaming, just breathing. Then I saw the heel marks on one of the broken monitors, accidentally. Right. I called the police. The officer who came looked around the room, Sahil, and said, "Third revenge damage call today. Must be something in the air." But Emily had made a mistake. The building camera showed her entering with Ethan's spare key at 3:18 p.m. It showed her leaving 7 minutes later, carrying nothing. Her face was clear. I sent the footage to Ethan and Emily. Emily has 24 hours to pay $3,800 for the destroyed items, or I press charges. Then I sent Ethan a second message. "Your sister committed a crime for you. I hope your freedom was worth it." Diane called within 2 minutes. You wouldn't dare involve the police. I already did. Emily was helping her brother. Emily broke into my office and destroyed my property. She had a key to retrieve Ethan's things, not destroy mine. You're being vindictive. No. Diane, I'm being documented. The next morning, Sen Mayan. 800 appeared in my account. From Emily. The message said, "I'm sorry." I didn't reply, but they still weren't finished. Ethan began telling people I had financially trapped him by kicking him out. He forgot to mention he had never paid rent. He forgot to mention his name was not on the lease. He forgot to mention that while I was saving for our wedding, he was investing in attention from another woman. Then Caleb messaged me again. I know we don't know each other, but thank you. I'd been suspicious for months. Olivia made me feel crazy. We're done. Also, Ethan keeps texting her from new numbers. Thought you should know. I sat with that message longer than I expected. Because betrayal has a strange echo, you think your pain is private, then you find out someone else was standing in a different room, hearing the same lies through another wall. The canceled wedding date was approaching every day. Ethan became less angry and more frantic. One night, a 2:40, she shaptea M. The first message came, I can't sleep. Then another, we were supposed to get married. Then another, I messed up. Is that what you want me to say? Then, Olivia blocked me. Then, your mom unfriended me. Then, I hate you. Then, I didn't mean that. By sunrise, there were 31 messages. I read them all. I answered none. Because somewhere between the ring footage, the broken office, and the apology he never actually gave, I stopped waiting for the man I loved to come back. I understood he had never existed that way. Only in my version of the story. The day that should have been our wedding arrived on a Saturday. For months, I had imagined waking up that morning, excited, nervous, maybe even crying happy tears. Instead, I woke up peaceful, not happy, not sad, just peaceful. The previous night, Ethan had sent message after message until nearly dawn. Some were apologies, some were accusations, some sounded like love, most sounded like panic. I ignored every single one, rather than spend the day mourning what should have happened. I took the morning off and went golfing with my father and my older sister Natalie. Halfway through the course, I posted a photo, 3 smiles, blue sky, no wedding. The caption said, "Beautiful day for freedom." Petty, maybe therapeutic. Absolutely. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. I should have known Ethan wouldn't let the day pass quietly. Around 7 that evening, there was a knock on my apartment door. I opened it and froze. Ethan was standing there, not in a full tuxedo, but close enough. White dress shirt, suit jacket, wedding shoes. As if he had dressed for a ceremony that no longer existed. His eyes were red. His face looked thinner. For a brief second, I almost felt sorry for him. Almost, I wanted you to see what you're giving up, he said. I looked him up and down. As suis. His jaw tightened. You know that's not what I mean. I leaned against the doorframe. No, Ethan, I really don't. His voice cracked. We were supposed to get married today. You were supposed to stay faithful. The words hit him hard. He took a step forward. Can we please talk? We've been talking for weeks. No. You've been judging me. I laughed. That's because evidence tends to do that. His expression darkened. You think you're perfect? No. Then why am I the only one paying for mistakes? I stared at him. The audacity almost impressed me. You cheated. It was one mistake. You lied. I was confused. You let your family harass me. They were trying to help. Your sister destroyed my property. She apologized. There it was, the familiar pattern. Every betrayal, reduced to a misunderstanding. Every consequence transformed into cruelty. Every victim expected to become a volunteer. I shook my head. You still don't get it. Get what? The problem isn't what you did. Then what is it? The problem is that you think saying sorry erases everything. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then Ethan tried to step past me. This is still my home. No. His eyes widened. No. You haven't lived here in weeks. We built a life here. You destroyed it. The conversation was getting louder. I noticed movement across the hallway. Mrs. Henderson from 4C had opened her door. Then another neighbor appeared. Then another. Apparently, heartbreak had become the building's evening entertainment. Ethan noticed, too. His embarrassment immediately turned into anger. Stop humiliating me. I almost laughed. You drove here dressed for a wedding that doesn't exist. His face turned red. Let me in. No. I'll make a scene. You already are. One of the neighbors quietly lifted her phone. Ethan saw it. The threat died instantly. For several seconds he simply stood there. Then, he pulled something from his pocket. A wedding ring. My ring. The one we had chosen together months earlier. For a second, seeing it hurt. Not because I wanted it. Because it reminded me of the future I thought we were building. He held it out. I was going to give this back. After the ceremony. I looked at it, then looked at him. Keep it. His hand trembled. Why? Because it belongs to the version of us that doesn't exist anymore. The words landed harder than any insult. His shoulders sagged. For the first time all night. He looked defeated. Not angry, not defensive. Just defeated. He stood there another minute before turning away. Halfway down the hallway, he stopped. You're going to regret this. I smiled sadly. The only thing I regret is not seeing the truth sooner. Then he left. I thought that would be the end. It wasn't. Over the next several months, the fallout kept coming. Ethan moved back in with his parents. According to mutual friends, he joined 3 dating apps within 2 weeks. Most of his profile pictures came from vacations we had taken together. He cropped me out of every single one. Olivia and Caleb broke up, eventually. But Ethan never got the happy ending he expected. Instead of choosing him, Olivia started dating someone she met through work. The first time, Ethan saw a photo of them together online. He reportedly spent an entire night sending messages she never answered. Emily paid the $3,800 and never challenged the police report. Diane, however, remained committed to her campaign. She sent one final email, explaining how I would never find another man like her son. My response contained only 6 words. That is exactly the point. I never heard from her again. Monica, the venue coordinator, surprised me. A few weeks later, a bottle of champagne arrived at my apartment. Attached was a note. Congratulations on dodging a disaster. I laughed for 10 straight minutes. Life slowly improved. The apartment felt lighter. Work became easier. Without constant wedding stress, I focused on my career. 3 months later, I received a promotion. 6 months later, I started seeing someone new. His name was Daniel. Gent. Patient. Emotionally mature. The sort of man who never needed attention from strangers to feel valuable. The best part, he knew the entire story. Whenever he brought me coffee, he'd sometimes write, "Not from a Tesla." It made me laugh every time. Then, almost a year after everything happened, I ran into Ethan at a grocery store. He was pushing a cart. I barely recognized him. He looked older, tired, like life had finally caught up with him. For a moment, we simply stared at each other. Then he approached. Isabella. Hi. I've been in therapy. Good. His face brightened slightly. My therapist says I have commitment issues. I nodded. Sounds accurate. And accountability problems. Also accurate. He laughed awkwardly. Then, he said something that surprised me. She says I should apologize. I waited. Maybe this was finally it. Maybe after everything. He understood. Maybe people really could change. I'm sorry for the Olivia situation. I blinked. The Olivia situation? Yeah. I waited. Nothing else came. No apology for the lies. No apology for the public humiliation. No apology for the harassment. No apology for the destroyed property. Just Olivia. Just the affair. As though everything else had been a minor inconvenience. And in that moment, I felt absolutely nothing. No anger. No sadness. No bitterness. Just certainty. I smiled. Okay. His forehead wrinkled. Okay. Okay. I grabbed my groceries and started walking away. Behind me. He called out. That's it. I didn't stop. Yeah. Ethan. Just okay. I looked back once. Enjoy your freedom. Then I left, and that was the last time I saw him. The funny thing is, people always ask whether I regret ending the relationship, whether I should have fought harder, forgiven more, given him another chance. The answer has never changed. No, because when someone shows you who they are, I believe them. And when they show you through a Ring doorbell camera in high definition, believe them even faster.